May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, to protect His message. Amen. Amen. Hello, shalom, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited to come before you one more again. Be off of here in a little shorter time than we normally take. Thank you to all those who are on with us on TikTok this evening. And we're thankful and grateful for those who are on with us for on watching this later on YouTube. Thanks for being on with us. And we're going to talk about WolfPack Mentality tonight. A conversation that's not really had that often. WolfPack Mentality is something that we should, speak about and be all right with speaking on. When we're dealing with the mentality, we're usually dealing with a lot of times with WolfPack mentality, and we don't really, deal with it and are honest about it. But we should make sure that we take time out to talk about what's going on with WolfPack mentality, with this mentality that says that we are, that we are supposed to feel like others are down and others are up. The culture that bases itself off the wolf, things of that nature. And we're thankful once again. We give all praise and honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored, who will be teaching class tonight. For those who will be taking French class with us, we're excited, we're thankful, we're grateful, and we'll be sending the link out as soon as we finish here. So thank you for being on. We appreciate you. We're going to talk once again about WolfPack mentality. What mentality? WolfPack mentality. This whole thing of Lupercalia, this whole thing of alpha and beta, this whole thing of alpha and omega. I'm an alpha male, I'm a alpha female, you're beta, this and that, right? If you comprehend the way that the wolf works, you'll comprehend how this system works. Wolves in sheep's clothing, things of that nature that we hear over and over and over again. We're going to talk about that WolfPack mentality and speak on those things, those items, and what the Most High is, trying to make sure that we comprehend as a people with this whole WolfPack mentality. Thank you for being on. I appreciate the time that you guys are spending with us on this evening. Those of you who are with us on the rising, those of you who will see tomorrow, and we appreciate you all. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Cherie. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Anthony, Shea Butter, T, everybody, those who are with us right now, those who will be with us later on. We're thankful again for having you all with us, and excited to be able to speak on some things. Thank you to our Patreon members. Hopefully you guys have been making sure that you've been keeping up with the things that we've been talking about, and we're grateful for those who have been a blessing to us and helping us, and helping us to continue to move in the correct direction, helping us to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do as a people. And I have an issue with a couple of things real quick, but we'll wait for a couple of people to come on real quick. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. They make these things so difficult online. Some things. Anyways, we'll continue this, but we wanna continue to move in the correct direction, and we're talking about I'm sorry, I'm doing two things at the same time. I need to focus. We are speaking about WolfPack mentality tonight, and all these different things that are going on, all these things going down or whatever. We want to make sure that we comprehend what's going on going on today, and the fact that if we understand the WolfPack mentality, we understand how things work, because everything is romantic, everything is Greco-Roman. And when we discovered that everything is Greco-Roman, now we are in a better position, right? We have to find out that things are Greco-Roman But then once we do, and we understand Rome, and we understand that Rome is influenced by the wolf, now we can comprehend what's going on, right? We have to first, once again, recognize what's going on with the wolf, right? So we have to make sure that we understand that Rome, in and of itself, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody coming on. Sister Sonia, hello. Chima, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Is it Lanios? Is it Laniosama? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, right? But we have to recognize that we're dealing with, once again, the wolf. And as we recognize we're dealing with the wolf, we're dealing with a WolfPack mentality. So wolves are supposed to hunt. Wolves travel in packs. Wolves make it a point to give, to take care of their young, and make sure that their young are taken care of, so that they can have the next generation taken care of. Wolves are a huge influence on today's society, right? The leader of the wolf pack is supposed to make sure that they eat first and that they go for the heart. The wolf is something that was studied, and even Rome says that they are supposed to be, Shalom, Sister Tanya, the wolf is supposed to be, forgive me, let me make sure I get this correct. The wolf is where the Roman, I won't say deists or deities or gods flow from, but basically the start of Rome is supposed to start with two individuals, Romulus and Remus, and both, depending on which story you believe or which part of the lore you believe, etc., the wolf is supposed to be the beginning of Rome. Romulus and Remus were two brothers. They were raised by wolves. Romulus is the one that survives, which is where you get the term Rome from. And Remus is supposed to be the one that was killed off, or they had a war and he died, or they had a war, he was killed off, or basically he died, and Romulus was all that was left over in the lore of Rome, in this romantic lore, this system that we're in based off of Rome. You're dealing with wolf-pack behavior. So Rome, anything romantic is supposed to be wolf-like behavior. We could make it as plain as possible, right? Anything that is romantic is supposed to be considered to be wolf-like behavior. If it's romantic, it's wolf-like behavior. If it is not romantic, then it is not wolf-like behavior. Salah, right? I don't even know if we need to have a whole long line. We could just cut it right there, right? If something is considered to be romantic, it is considered to be that of the wolf. So it is romantic to kill, because wolves kill. It is romantic to hunt, hunt people. Wolves kill. It is romantic to war, right? Wolves go to war with even other packs. It is romantic to kill or be killed, right? Wolves are kill or they get killed. You can't talk about Rome without talking about the wolf. Matter of fact, this is why when we start March 6th and we begin, for us, we don't deal with, Lent, because Lent is another way of dealing with Lupercalia. Lupercalia, if you know about the Roman Empire, if you know about the Holy Roman Catholic Church, as it's called, you had people that were dealing with this festival called Lupercalia, and they were able to eventually get people to get into Lent, but there's still some holdovers from it when you study it. Now, a lot of people think that Lent is biblical. There's no such thing in the Bible as Lent. There's a 40-day period in which we make sure that we take leaven out of our homes. And so they kind of used that thing and they said, okay, we'll just fast from one thing, give up video games for 40 days, give up, meat for 40 days, give up candy for 40 days. But the reality is that Lent was a correction on the fact that people were so into wolf-like behavior that they had to stop it. Lupercalia, if you look it up, I believe it's spelled Lupercalia. Calia, right? Even when you deal with diseases, they name it after the wolf. So if somebody has lupus, you're dealing with the wolf, right? So they literally are saying it's a wolf-like disease. And what they do when it comes to lupus is they'll tell you, people even start getting allergies. Like they say, I'm allergic to the sun, so they say I can't go out in the sun. The reality is because they say that it attacks you like the wolf, and so therefore you can't go out and do this, the sun will attack you. But in our culture, we know that if you have an allergic reaction to something basically means your body can't digest something. If your body becomes toxic, for example, example of that is alcohol, right? If your body becomes toxic with alcohol, what happens? If you drink alcohol, you throw up alcohol, this is what happens. Your body has too much alcohol in it already, right? And therefore you're trying to put more alcohol in it, your body throws it up. In essence, that's what goes on with your body. Your body starts swelling or throwing things up, or you start having pimples and stuff where, basically like pimples and things like that are usually just waste, sometimes even holdovers of worms, or sometimes they're worms, things trying to escape your body, things like that, waste that needs to be thrown out of your body. And so you have lupus, you have this wolf-like disease. It starts attacking you. They say, oh, you're allergic to the sun, you're this, you're that, you're all these different things. And the reality is that what we would do, if somebody has an allergy with something, it means your body can't digest it, right? So really, if you have an allergy to something, after a while, you need to start giving that person a little bit of it so that there's cells, that their tissues and things, that the melanin can get used to what's supposed to be. The melanin is not getting what it needs. Therefore, the melanin can't send signals to the body the way it's supposed to. And therefore, because of that, you're dealing with the body being out of control. So when you're dealing with an allergy, you need to deal with an allergy as far as, hey, how can I start reintroducing this to my body? Or what is it that my body has too much of? Or how are my cells and everything messed up? What do I need to start eating to where my melanin and my cells and everything get back on track? Also, too, taking a bunch of water. Some people would say, Dr. Naive Africa would say, especially in the healing process, you need to be taking no less or drinking no less than, I'm saying taking because you should be thinking about it like medicine, but you should be drinking no less than a gallon of water a day. Right? You're trying to fight against those things that are going on. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with, this wolf-like mentality, right? Hey, there's a disease coming that attacks you like a wolf. So what do? You hunt wolves, even to the point of extinction. So somebody has cancer, somebody has lupus, something like that. So guess what? The cancer's eating you, it's attacking you, it's a wolf. So what do? You hunt the wolf even to extinction. So you go and you get something that kills your body. You get radiation, you get chemo, and your body is dying, but you're attacking your body, and you're hopefully attacking the cells that hold the cancer, and therefore when you attack the cells, you're not killing the cancer, you're killing the cells, and the hope is that the cells are dying faster than they can reproduce. If you can kill the cells faster than they reproduce, hopefully your body won't die in the process, and you'll be able to ring that bell and say that you survived, and then probably deal with cancer later on. Because we didn't heal the body, we fought the wolf. How you doing, Helen? Shabbat shalom to everybody. Any particular water, as long as it's alkaline. And really what you want to do is get away from water that's, if you can, you want to get away from water that's in plastic and bottles and stuff, especially if they've been sitting in plastic for months and months and months, which a lot of it does. But you're dealing with the wolf. This wolf syndrome, right? The WolfPack mentality. That's what you're dealing with. Okay. So you're dealing with WolfPack mentality. That's what you're dealing with, is people who have a mentality of a wolf, right? The alpha male, I'm the alpha. Why? Because there's an alpha wolf. So when they talk about toxicity in society now, well, is masculinity toxic, or is wolf-like behavior toxic for males? You see the difference? And if we don't comprehend this, if we don't recognize it, we don't think about it, we fall into the same type of behavior, the same type of thought process, the same type of mindset that tells us like, oh, we should act like the wolf. Matter of fact, think about it. There's an alpha Israel, according to those who say that they are alpha and are not. And then there's a beta Israel. Now, what is beta? Beta is supposed to be more the feminine, effeminate, even though there are alpha females now. They've changed it, but back then, romantic type language, you're dealing with a what? You're dealing with a feminine. So when they say you're beta Israel, not only are they saying you're lesser than because you're black, but they're also saying, well, you're not quite masculine, you're more feminine. Right? To just pour your bottled water into your copper vessel, best you can do. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? But I'm just saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't finish on the water. By the way, water should have stuff in it. If you were actually drinking from water from a lake and it was pure water, we don't really do that much anymore because we're used to buying it from the store and we can't really trust lakes, unfortunately, nowadays. But if you were drinking water from a lake, what would you do? Or what would you be having? What would you be eating? You'd be drinking the water and it would have minerals in it. You might have salt in it, right? You might have dirt in it. I'm not saying you just scooping up dirt, right? But as you scoop up the water, there's things in it. There might be things that come from other animals floating in the water, right? So you would be getting vitamins and minerals. So one of the things that people don't do, that we tell people to do, hey, something simple. If you want to medicate yourself while drinking some water, make sure you put a pinch of salt in the water. People believe this or not, because salt water in the ocean is different than what we think it is. Like salt water, like you can put a pinch of salt. Salt actually helps your body. You're supposed to have salt in your diet. We've been told not to have salt, but salt actually helps you to be able to hold water. There's many other things that it provides as well. Sodium chloride is something that's necessary for your body. So you would make sure that you had salt, right? But people are so busy about attacking the body, so they say, hey, if you don't have salt, it'll cause you to have this and that or whatever. Maybe your body gets leaner in certain areas or whatever, but you're actually hurting yourself. But hey, attack your body. As long as you're attacking your body, things will go. Like even the workout routine now, what do we teach people? We teach people to attack your muscles, make your muscles hurt. No pain, no gain, all these things. But you can gain muscle without it having to be painful. You can lose weight without it having to be painful. No, you got to make sure you're on that treadmill. You got to make sure you have that gym membership. Be on that treadmill an hour a day, every day, as if that's actually going to stop, from gaining weight. If you're eating the wrong thing, you'll still be at the same weight or gain weight at an extreme minimal value. Maybe you'll lose a lot if you're extremely overweight, and then after you get to a certain point, you're going to have the same problem. You're not going to be able to lose anything. But it's about attacking the body. That's why supermodels and actresses and stuff, a lot of them seem to be emaciated, right? They had this whole thing not too long ago where they had this commercial and everybody was freaked out about it because they said this woman had the perfect butt and she was a skinny woman with a long butt, almost kind of flabby, right? White woman, of course, because that's the beauty standard. But that's not healthy. Said that the jeans fit her perfectly, but there's a little sag in the gene, right? Like it doesn't make, but that's a wolf mentality. Hey, her body's been attacked. But if you're gonna be a supermodel, hey, you got to get skinny. You got to make sure that you're not fat. Well, what if you just look like a normal person? Can a normal person be beautiful? No. Why? Because in wolf-like behavior, your body has to be attacked. How you doing, Alan? Sea salt or iodized? I think nowadays, so if we were getting the iodine that we need in our diet, you don't need iodized salt. But iodized salt was created, was it World War II-ish, World War I-ish, somewhere in there, because Americans weren't getting what they needed from their plants. There was no iodine in their diet. A lot of them couldn't afford food maybe that had iodine in it. So they started putting it in the salt. So a lot of people, especially if you have thyroid problems, prayerfully before you've already cut them, because a lot of people believe these doctors, a lot of black people believe these doctors when they say we need to cut on your thyroid, and now they got to take medicine for the rest of their life, and then that stuff that they can't even afford sometimes, things like that. But you don't have a thyroid problem. If your thyroid is off, you make sure that you get some iodine. So you can get iodine droplets. Now they are usually a little more expensive, but you can get iodine droplets. But or just make sure that you eat certain plants that have iodine in them heavily. You're gonna have to eat a lot of them because you'll rotate crops and things that much, so you're not gonna have a lot of iodine naturally that you're supposed to have. Nevertheless, though, right? So you can do iodine salt, but if you're getting iodine out your diet, the normal way, then hopefully you don't need to have the salt that's been iodized. And also when they iodize it, they change the chemical component of it to make it to where it lasts forever. And salt shouldn't last forever. Real food doesn't last forever. So that's the only problem with the iodine salt. If you're doing it over and over again and taking heavy amounts. But if you need to be medicated and you need iodine, you need it right away, take the salt. Just make sure you're not having too much salt. Right? Too much salt is a problem, but you need salt in your diet for sure. So you eat corn chips because you get headaches when salt deficient. Yeah, but you could literally, when you drink, put some salt in there. Put some lemon and lime in your water. Right, that's going to help you as well with cleansing stuff out, cleansing the blood, and then being able to get the salt that you need to be able to go to your body the way that you need it to be. So, you said we didn't heal the body, we fought the war. Yeah, I like that, right? And that's real talk, though. Like, we're not taught to heal, right? Because do wolves heal their bodies? Well, technically, wolves know how to heal their body, but sometimes animals have more than anything else. You said any good idea for menopause? Menopause is actually something the honorable mind, my wife, she's been researching because menopause is not necessarily a natural occurrence. We've been taught that it is, but it's really not necessarily so. Especially if you were never supposed to die, that means that you were supposed to be fruitful to the day that you died, which never was going to happen. Therefore, you should have never had menopause. But when your body begins to die, it doesn't get essential minerals. You start having issues with eggs. And by the way, it doesn't even make sense to tell somebody that once you get your eggs, that's all that you get, and you can't reproduce eggs, because if you could produce it in the first place, then you can more than likely reproduce it. I know it doesn't make sense to some, but I'm not saying that you can lose a limb and then get the limb to grow back or anything like that, but I'm saying, you can have a limb cut off and you can have it reattached, or not a limb, let's say a digit, right? Not attached, and it'll come back, it comes back to you. It can come back into usage. You can put it back on the body. But we have wolf-like behavior. Once again, Lupercalia, going back to that. So even when you deal with, it's my pleasure, Helen. You were quoting me? I didn't remember saying that. Amen. So yeah, when you deal with like Lupercalia, even the festival of the wolf, that 40 days now has become Lent, is because people used to get together and have sex like wolves and have children like wolves. And they would have sex with each other's spouses and all types of stuff. And you can't have the Roman Catholic Church. They didn't really care at first, but when they started trying to say, well, we're going to do this Christian thing, they said, well, it looks bad if you do it. So they started giving them, they started letting them have a little bit of Lupercalia right before Lent. And then they said during Lupercalia, just sprinkle some Jesus on it. Tell us that you're going to give up something during that, and we'll go ahead and let you have fun. That's why you have Fat Tuesday. That's why you have Carnival. That's why you have all these different things around the world. In India, you have similar versions of this. In France, you have people that do this in masks and stuff like that, and all types of sexual activity takes place. In England and Spain, that's why you have those things. It's all attached to Lupercalia, people acting like wolves. Once again, wolf-like behavior is romantic, and if you're in Rome, especially like we were talking about in Revelation today, right? When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. Says sprinkle some Jesus on it. Yeah, that's what people do. Sprinkle some Jesus on it. You got some wolf-like behavior. I mean, shoot, just, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. So the ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so. And not one time do you have to address your behavior. You just sprinkle some Jesus on it. Because Yahshua loves you. He tells us to love our enemies, but it doesn't mean our enemies are going to get into heaven. But we don't think about it. It's wolf-like behavior. Kill or be killed. There's even, what's that? Who sung that? The 80s song? I don't even remember how it goes. I don't remember the melody. I don't remember all the lyrics, right? Right, what is it? I'm on the hunt, time after you, right? And I'm hungry like the wolf. Whatever the words are between there, I don't know. But it's Lupercalia, it's wolf. And people were like, man, that's a romantic song. Yeah, it is. But I don't know if it's a song that should make anybody excited. Like, why would you be excited that somebody's hunting you? Right? Get on the football field. Man, I'm on the hunt. We're looking for somebody's head to knock off. I mean, there's gladiatorial behavior. It's wolf-like behavior. It's a dog fight. What are dogs? Dogs are modified wolves. Genetically modified wolves, GMO wolves. That's what a dog is. That's why man's best friend is a dog. Why? Because man's best friend, who man, or in romantic circles, who man is chasing after, is a wolf. The wolf and wolf go hand in hand. Matter of fact, that quote, my wife showed me something this rising where there was a guy. You know how like with your babies, you print your baby's feet and stuff, and you print their handprints and all that. This dude did a print of the dog's paws and his hands right next to each other, and everybody was so excited. Got like, what was it? I think she told me got 1.2 million views or something like that. Because that's cute. To do what you do with babies, and to do the same thing with your dogs, and say, "Oh, my dog, you're such a good what? You're such a good boy." When is a dog a boy? Why is your dog and boy? You know, he's part of the family. He's just like us. He's one of us. Why is your dog equal to? He's just a big child. Why are you calling your dog a child? A puppy's a puppy. A child is a child. An animal's an animal. A human's a human. Evolution, though, is trying to make sure that you comprehend that the survival of the fittest, the best pack of what they say the 8 races are in there, and, you know, origin of species, the theory of evolution, the struggle of survival for favorite races, Charles Darwin. You know, he's trying to tell you wolf-like behavior. Hey, we're the greatest pack, you know, and so we're better than everybody else. We've got to out-survive. Be ready to fight. Sink your teeth into other people if you need to. Sink your teeth into these other tribes. Sink your teeth into these other type of wolf packs out there. It's WolfPack Mentality. He said that should be on the shirt. Shoot, we about to get these shirts getting back out, by the way, so we can make sure that we're doing stuff for fundraising and different things we're trying to do with land and around the world and things. But yeah, you know, it's WolfPack behavior. He said, I'm a poet, pastor, and I write romantic poetry. Is that the wolf in me? Is that bad? I mean, well, people call it romantic. I mean, a love novel doesn't have to be a romantic novel. Matter of fact, if you look it up, I think the actual, before people started saying romantic and teaching us to say romantic, I think the actual way that it was spoken of, the genre, was originally called romantic love novel, right? So it's really a love novel, but you put that extra on there, romantic, you're saying, okay, we want you to think within a certain prism. But if you're not talking about romantic love, then you're not talking about romantic culture, therefore it's not romantic anyways. You know, like I said earlier this rising, you know, if I turned off all the lights and I was able to afford a candle, in Roman times, I would have been, you know, ahead of the people. You know, I've been something that was a lot of people wanted, not everybody could afford, and so to have a candlelit dinner in the dark was something that was amazing. So people love candlelit dinners because it's romantic. I like to eat in the light. I'm still eating food, right? So just because it's not romantic doesn't mean that it's not eating. Just because it's not romantic doesn't mean it's not love. You know. You said that song was just in your head? Yeah, some people love dogs more than humans. Matter of fact, you know, there was a law in place to where it was all right for children to die and to be killed, you know, because they were slaves. But you know, you could and think about that. But a dog, you better not kill a dog. So think about that. You could stop on a child, right, and kill them. But since they weren't a human being or they weren't even an animal, it's fine. But you kill a dog and people come looking for you. It's the same mentality. You know, you had babies that were gator bait. They threw babies in the bayou. They threw babies in Florida, especially in Florida, I believe, but I think they did it in Louisiana as well. Probably did it some other places that I never have dived deep into, because I don't know how deep I want to dive into, you know, people treating children like, you know, or not treating them like, using them as alligator bait. But there's whole museums out there where you can look at stuff where people still use this stuff, by the way, too. You know, there were pins, and on the top of the pin would be, you know, on the top of the pin would be an alligator, or whatever. The alligator would be the top, and you take the alligator, or the baby was at the top of the alligator's mouth, and then, you know, you take the top off or whatever, and you put it on the back, and the alligator's teeth were there or whatever, and then when you finish, you put the baby back on the top, you're putting it back in the alligator's mouth. You know, they had tons of postcards that were used, alligator bait, babies on there, black babies and an alligator right there. It was always black babies too, by the way. You know, it's wolf-like behavior. Wolves are considered to be smart. You know why? And I'm not saying wolves have no intelligence, but is a wolf smarter than an elephant? Is a wolf smarter than a hippopotamus? Is a wolf smarter than... No, no, not really. But the only reason why they consider them to be so is because these wolves have qualities that they look for. So they say a wolf's extremely smart. Because wolves can communicate with each other. I mean, dolphins communicate with each other. You know, whales communicate with each other. Elephants communicate with each other over miles. Elephants stop when somebody dies, and they stop there and they actually have, services. Like if they see an elephant that they know died, they actually stop there and they mourn the body for a couple of days. And then when they come back a year later, if they see the bones there, they actually stop again. And even if the bones get removed, they'll stop in the same place each time, every year. But they'll tell you the wolf is the pinnacle, because that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a WolfPack mentality. You said love dogs, but it's interconnected for many. Yeah, I don't find any problem. Like, I'm not a big dog person, but I've met dogs with personality and stuff, and dogs that I, know that are excited when they see me. And there was, a dog that, Solomon, he never owned one, but there was a dog when we would go over one of our family members' houses, and they would have these great time with each other. And the dog was very old. I can't say what happened to the dog just in case Solomon's around. They didn't tell him, but the dog was up there in age. And one time we came there, it was a new dog that he started to play with. Nevertheless, though, the older dog would light up whenever Solomon came, and even though it was slow, it would go around the house and play with him. So dogs, are great creatures and everything. I don't find anything wrong with being pets. I'm just saying the reason why people put dogs like people, do treat animals like people, is because they believe that people should be like wolves. You said you have a friend who calls her dog her kids. Yeah. And by the way, that's even weird too. People we use these terms, we don't know where they come from, right? And then we try to figure out why animalistic behavior starts out. Like a kid is a baby goat. So you shouldn't call a baby dog, or even a dog a kid, because it's not a goat. And you shouldn't call a child a kid. But once again, if you get into mentality and stuff, and you know what Baphomet is, and you know what compass is, and you know that people worship these things and dress up like these things. If you know about, just look at a movie. If you haven't read the books, look up The Witch. What is it? The Chronicles of Narnia, The Witch, the Wardrobe, or something, The Witch in the Wardrobe, or The Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe, whatever it is. And then, look up Lord of the Rings, and goats and all these different things or whatever, right? It's a part of a certain group of people who make animals on the same level, if not greater than human beings. And they try to live up to these animals' principles. It's a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing, but people don't think about it. You said you saw the gator from a spaceship from NASA onto Penn, Florida. I mean, it would make sense. And sometimes, people are ignorant of it. They don't even know, right? Or even think about the fact, Florida gators, right? And they do this and stuff like that. Like people aren't thinking where this stuff comes from. They just do what people do. Any black person probably should stay away from being a Florida gator, or talking about, we're going to eat this other team up, we're going to eat this person, we're going to do, that's but people don't recognize. And a lot of people don't get it, don't get what's going on, why we're still dealing with animalistic behavior. These are generational curses, things that existed and still exist. Better not mess with cash. I get you. Yeah, have a right to, deal with yourself. I'm just saying there's a reason why these things are there. Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Sonia said Shabbat Shalom to you if she missed you. Dripbeck says some people... okay, I think we read all that. So, but once again, it's just getting back to Lupercalia, this wolf-like mentality, right? And if you are any group that's considered to be a threat to the wolf, then you got to go. Right, here's another thing. Endurance. Wolves endure. So now you got to start thinking about, how do you fight off a wolf? Can you outrun the wolf? Because wolves can run and run and run and run. So you got to be an animal that has endurance. Wolves also believe in think about this now. You got to think about the mentality. Wolves believe in picking off the weak, or the young, or the sick, because they're easy. They're easy to get to. So if something's young or sick, or if it's considered to be weak, you attack it. Why do your children come up missing? Why are your children's minds attacked constantly and consistently? It's WolfPack mentality. You know, it's you know it's real. You know, it's the same thing. We're just not thinking about it. We're not able to think about it correctly. Excuse me. So you know, you're dealing with WolfPack mentality. You know, one of the blessings in my life that's helped me to see the world a lot. We don't really talk about. I guess if you've been around me long, you know that I'll mention animals here or there. Study animal behavior and then study what animals human beings like to talk about the most, and you'll discover usually what they're about. You know, study why they say animals are good. Right? Um, you know, study why they like to study ants, and then see if they try to do the same type of stuff, or if they try to treat ants. You know, try to get people to live like ants and do work for them. You know, you got to see that this is a. We keep not giving people credit. You know, if we want to say, oh, this person's, if we just label them as racist or we label them as whatever, we don't really think about, you know, these things or whatever. You saw a video swoop down on a young girl, sidebar, but adults got her. Yeah. Who are you if your mission is to fight wolves? Who are you if your mission is to fight wolves? I don't know if I'm going to answer. I don't know if I have the right answer for that. I don't know if I had the answer that you're trying to get me to get into. I guess maybe it's something I could look up. You know, or are you talking about hawks that swooped down earlier? Yeah. So, but you know, it's going to wolf-like behavior. I just wanted to drop that in there. We're not gonna stay on long. My wife's getting ready for French class, and so we're gonna get ready to send that link out, and everybody who wants to join us can join us, or everybody who's signed up can join us. By the way, once again, check out Kofi-Footy.com. There's a few updates that are on there. We have a lot more on there. Business stuff coming together as well. Looking at having hopefully soon finally the YLP 83 stuff up on there. We have, oh, by the way, the letters should be out to you. I reconfigured the stuff the way that we need to have it done, at least for this present time with YLP 83. So we got the EIN situation is we can keep what we have. So we're doing well with that. So that part of the equation is done. Just to give you a heads up. Man, been doing stuff all day. I'm trying to think of all the stuff, but basically, yeah, just keep on keeping on. Thank you so much, Yashriel, Kwame Yashriel. Continue to rise. Thank you for those who are patrons and they're helping us out and blessing us. We had a little bit extra because of just you guys. The few of us that already have become patrons. We were able to have a little bit of extra that we could use to be a blessing to people. And to be honest with you, even on travel that's coming up on some things that we needed some help on, we'll be able to help some people. Hopefully you got out today and you were a blessing to somebody. We ask every Friday that people are a blessing to somebody out in their community. So hopefully you went out there and did so and, rose above the wolf and did some great things to help people out, Oh, born guardian, a disciple. Okay. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Continue or let us know. Don't forget, by April 23rd, we need to know what's going on. If you're going to be going with us and meeting with us October 14th through the 16th, we're getting closer to having a specific place and having a couple places in mind, but we need to know how many people are going. And once again, if you let us know by April 23rd, we're not going till October 14th through the 16th. We're not meeting till then, rather. But if you're going and you say you're going April 23rd, please don't say you're going unless you know for sure. So if you need to figure out work, if you need to figure out, if you need to have the money set aside, if you want to have some stuff set aside to where you're already sitting in a donation, and if you go over whatever, we can make sure that we send back whatever. If those who trust us on that level, you don't have to do that, but I'm just saying whatever you need to do, if you want to work out a payment plan in advance, if you want to say, hey, I'm going to do my best, but maybe somebody, if they can help me, and maybe somebody's willing to help you with some of the expense. We've had people do that with classes before. We had people that were willing to do that last year before we had to cut off what we were going to do meeting up last year. So just let us know. Pray for us. We will be on the road on the rise, early in the rising on Monday, and so we'll probably have a shorter version of our live on Hashan or Yom Hashan or on Monday. So just let us know if you'd like to be a participant in what we're doing, what we're talking about, and or I'm sorry, just be with us. I'm sorry, I'm putting stuff together on Monday. We thank you guys. We appreciate you all. Don't forget that the tincture this month for Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. The tincture of the month is the mucus detox. So if you'd like to get some of that, just let us know, and we'll make sure that we get that sent to you through Bloom and Flourish. And I think that's all that I have. I don't really have anything else. Thank you so much. I'll see some of you shortly in French class. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. We'll be on at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time. We'll have our podcast tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time. We'll follow that up at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time with our weekly meeting. And that'll be it for tomorrow. Thank you guys who helped out our brother and his family last week with something to make sure that they were staying on their toes a little bit. I am pleased to announce, thanks to you guys on Patreon, that we were able to send a little something extra again. So thank you all. We appreciate you. And we look forward to doing great things together. Continue to pray for each other. And until we have a chance to be before you again, our hope and our prayer is that you not only hear this word, but you study it, meditate on it, pray about it, fast, whatever you need to do, so that you can make sure that you execute it, and you won't be hearers only. You can also be qualified to be as doers as well. Thank you so much. As always, this has been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken until we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom.